Hello, in this tutorial we're going to be talking about how to make fire in Photoshop. Usually try to stay away from these kind of tutorials, like these effect only tutorials, because usually they're not really very useful in the real world. But oddly enough, fire is one of those things that just clients do request from time to time, and it's another one of those things that's actually very difficult to get a somewhat realistic looking fire without going crazy or trying to buy stock photography. So to get an effect purely using Photoshop tools or procedurally is one of those little tricky things that maybe we could show you a few things to make that a little easier for you. So we're going to start off with a new document. We're going to make it 500 pixels wide by 500 pixels high. And the first thing we're going to want to do is make our background color black. So we're just going to go to Image, Adjustments, Invert. Next thing we're going to want to do is our text. Make sure your foreground color is white. And we're just going to type out Flames. And you want to pick a font that has a nice, kind of like this nice rounded serif at the end and stuff, so that kind of just looks more organic than a block type or something like that. It'll lend itself better to the fire effect later on. Okay, so at this point we're going to just copy both of these layers, and then we're going to merge them down. So when I merge it down, I'm just going to select the top layer here, this Flames copy, and we're just going to merge down. And we'll call this layer 1. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is, with our new layer selected, we're going to go to Image Transform, and we're going to want to rotate this 90 degrees counterclockwise. And then we're going to apply a filter under Stylize called Wind. Okay, and you want to make sure that your method is on Wind and your direction is from the right. Once you have that set, just hit OK. And we're going to actually apply this filter 2 more times for a total of 3. So we're going to apply the same filter here. It's already up top. And 1 more time. Next thing we're going to want to do is put a Gaussian blur filter on it. And for this particular resolution that we're working in of 500 by 500 pixels, we're going to go with a radius of 1.5. So this is really relative to your document size. So if you're working on a document that's 1,000 pixels by 1,000 pixels, you want this to be double that size. Or you could just use your eye, and you want just basically a soft blur on that, just to get rid of those jaggies and make it kind of soft and natural like fire would be. Okay, so after that, we're just going to rotate this back down. So we're going to go rotate clockwise, and that should bring us back down. Okay, so the next thing we're going to want to do is add some color to our fire. So we're going to go back to Filter. Oh, I'm sorry, we're going to go to Image, Adjust, and we're going to want Hue Saturation. Okay, so we're going to click Colorize, and we're going to bump our saturation all the way up. And we're going to want this to be around 40 to get that nice orange color. And we're going to hit OK. Now we're going to duplicate this layer. We'll call this layer 2 for now. And we're going to put on another hue saturation. Colorize again, bump our saturation up, and you can leave this at 0. You want this red to be like this really bright red. Okay, now with this top layer of the red flame selected, we're going to go to where it says normal here on a drop down box, and we're going to just put color dodge. Okay, that's going to give us this really intense looking flame color. It doesn't look like fire yet, but it's going to very soon. So now what we want to do is, with our top layer selected, still selected, we're going to merge down again. Okay, so we just merge those 2 orange and red flame layers together. Okay, so now we're going to use this Liquify filter, and that's going to open up a whole new dialog box, like a sub-application. Now, up until this point, this tutorial has been very clinical. It's a matter of, using this setting with this many pixels, and it's, it's all predetermined. This is the part where it's really going to take some creativity, and you're really going to have to probably play with it a while to get the certain kind of a result you're looking for. But with that said, for this pixel size, we're using a 500 by 500, our document size. We're going to be using a brush size of 25. So again, if you're going much larger than this, like say you're going double that size of 1,000 by 1,000 pixels, you're going to want this to be set to about 50. Everything else you want to leave at pretty much default, brush density of 50 and brush pressure at 100. Okay, so now that we have that set, I'm going to zoom in here. And I'm just going to start from the tops of the text. And I'm just going to kind of hold the mouse button, and as I go up, I'm going to kind of wiggle the mouse a little bit. You can see it gives us that nice organic flow of the flame. You know, and again, this is the part where it's really going to take practice and just overall creativity. As a matter of fact, for this tutorial, I'm going to kind of just go through this pretty quick. But when you do this on your own, you're going to probably want to mess around a few times before you get the desired effect you want. So I'm just going to finish through these. You know, and if you pull down more on the white part of the text, you can bring that intensity up more. So these are the kind of things you might want to play around with. You might not want that to be that intense up there, so that's totally up to you. There's not necessarily a wrong way to do it. It's just really what kind of fire you're looking to make, how intense it is, and how wild it looks. All right, so that's a down and dirty way to do it right now. So we're just gonna hit OK, and there you can see already we have just really convincing fire. I mean, with very minimal steps. So the next thing I'm gonna do is just bring that other text layer up that we made originally, and I'm gonna hit Alt. Let's make sure our background color or our foreground color is black. I'm gonna hit Alt backspace, and that's gonna make it black. On Macintosh, that'll be Option key backspace, and that really makes the flame stand out. Now, this is just the base fire. I mean, you can take this and play with this and try all sorts of different cool effects with it. You know, you can add a certain kind of glow effects to it if you want to make it look more intense like that. You can add little glowing particles to make it look like a, you know, like a campfire-y thing. There's all different kind of stuff you could add to this and just keep building on it. And it's just really a fun tutorial just to play around with. But the base, which we just demonstrated, as you can see, is very quick and very easy to do, and it gives you a pretty, you know, professional looking illustration rather quickly. And you'd be surprised how many times clients will actually ask for fires. Like if somebody's opening a restaurant and they have a menu with spicy foods, they might want some fire on a certain portion of the menu. So it is a great little technique to have in your toolkit. So that's it, and I hope you have fun with it. It's a fun little tutorial, and thanks for watching.